Having consented to marry Parvati, Shiva was not ready to wait beyond 3 days. In her home, her mother and other relations prepare Parvati for the wedding. On the broad roads, kalpavriksha flowers were scattered on both sides. Chinese silk buntings fluttered. Every door was festooned with golden arches. Looking at the city so illuminated and shining, writes Kalidasa, it appeared as if Swarga had descended upon the earth. No doubt Himalaya had many sons, yet at this moment, because she was soon to be married, Uma alone became the life breath of her parents. Parvati passed from lap to lap of her relations, receiving blessings and gifts of ornaments, one better than the other. Although everyone was treated with love, she evoked a fondness unique in the entire clan of Himalaya. A little before sunrise, in an auspicious window of time, when the moon was in conjunction with the Uttar Phalguni stars, married women, mothers of sons, started the sringar on her body. They adorned her with freshly sprouted grass. They applied white mustard powder to her face. They dressed her in silks reaching her navel. With oil they anointed her, completing the makeup. However, writes Kalidasa, Parvati's resplendence outshone her makeup. She tucked an arrow in her waist to hold instead of holding Shiva's hand during the marriage ceremony. Getting ready for her marriage ceremonies, holding the arrow pinned to her waist, Parvati looked dazzling like the waxing new moon that shines more brilliant when stimulated by sun rays. On her oil-smeared body, the women applied red and white powder of lodhr flowers to wipe, then colouring her body with a fragrant paste, dressing her in robes suitable for a bath, they led her to a chamber standing on pillars 4. The bath chamber had an elegant large stool made of sapphire. With strings of coloured beads strung all around, they made Parvati sit on that seat and bathed her with waters from golden pitchers, playing on musical instruments all the time. What an image! Listen to these words and rejoice. Her body purified by an auspicious bath, she put on new clothes for the ceremonies. She looked fresh like the earth, washed by rain clouds and carpeted with white jasmine. From the bathroom, the faithful Suhagins, married women, walked her to a private chamber where a decorated seat had been placed in a sacred enclosure under a canopy strung over 4 pillars of crystal. Parvati was made to sit on this seat facing east. While there was an abundance of decoration around, the ladies were so fascinated by her natural beauty that they, totally lost to their surroundings, unblinking, gazed at her. She was the focus of attention. Flowers were tucked into her wet hair. These were later dried with fragrant incense and sandalwood smoke. Around her coiffure, they tied a garland of yellow ashoka flowers strung on a string made of long grass. They applied fragrant white aloe paste to her body. They drew leaves on her skin with deep red gorochan dye. She looked so gorgeous that in comparison, even the Ganges, with clean water flowing down her 3 streams, her sandy banks marked by ruddy geese sitting thereon, looked lustreless. Even the Ganges looked lustreless when compared to Parvati. Neither a lotus surrounded by black bees, writes Kalidasa, nor the moon partially covered by shreds of clouds held a match to the beauty of her face, emerging out of a coiffure carefully done. The onlooker's attention, the poet continues, was transfixed upon the fresh barley sheaves dangling from her ears, and on her fair cheeks rubbed with fragrant lodra flower powder and touched with gorochan dye. Just a sharp line divided the lower lip of the well-formed Parvati from her upper lip. The physical beauty, nicely described, carefully described. It looked pink with an application of fat that enhanced its beauty. So they had a lipstick. Awaiting a ripening, this throbbing lip was a sight for the eyes. Applying shellac to her feet, Parvati's companion said in fun, "May God bless you, so that these feet you touch the crescent moon on your husband's forehead." What an image. Uma said nothing, but in feigned anger, playfully struck her with a garland. Playfully struck her with a garland. A woman applied collyrium to Parvati's eyes, large as full-blown blue lotus petals, nor in order to beautify them, but to ward off evil. Like a creeper to which the flowers add their sparkle, like the night that looks resplendent when stars shine, writes the poet. Like a stream that looks fascinating when colorful birds flutter on its banks, Parvati's natural beauty was enhanced when she was decked with lovely ornaments. Looking at her beauteous form in the mirror, Uma was stunned. She stood transfixed. She yearned to meet Shiva. A woman's sringar, writes the poet, bears fruit only when her husband admiringly looks at it. What a thought! What a thought! Meanwhile, her mother came in, lifting her daughter's face, framed by two lovely ear pendants. She admiringly looked at it. Somehow, with her wet fingers, Mena applied a turmeric yellow and auspicious kumkum tilak on Parvati's forehead, indicating that it was time for the marriage ceremonies. Her joy knew no bounds when she looked at her daughter's ravishing beauty. With happiness, she almost fainted. It seemed that Mena, by applying the tilak, had fulfilled her desire to marry her daughter, a desire she had nurtured since Uma grew into womanhood. Mena shed tears of joy. She could hardly see through her misty eyes. She tied the kangana at a wrong place on Uma's wrist. However, Parvati's nurse, with her gentle fingers, moved the marriage bangles and threads into their correct place. Dressed in virgin white clothes, holding a new mirror in her hand, Parvati looked dazzling like the foaming waves of Kshira Sagara, or like the full moon on an autumn night. She was asked to bow to all the family gods. She was then asked to bow before and touch the feet of all the virtuous women who had gathered there, and thus continued her sringar. May Shiva bless you, may Parvati bless you.